Iranian human rights activist Narges Mohammadi has won this year's Nobel Peace Prize. The committee chair, Berit Rees-Anderson, has said that she's been awarded for her fight against the oppression of women in Iran.
She supports women's struggle for the right to live full and dignified lives. This struggle across Iran has been met with persecution, imprisonment, and even death.
Narges Mohammadi has been imprisoned 13 times and is currently in Tehran's notorious Evin prison, where Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe was held. Let's speak to Maryam Namazie, who is an Iranian-born writer and campaigner who fled Iran with her family in 1980. So what does this mean to you, the fact that Narges Mohammadi has been given the Nobel Peace Prize?
Well, I mean, as you mentioned, she's someone who's been arrested 13 times for a total of 31 years. She's been sentenced to prison. She's in Evin right now. And of course, she's been campaigning for various things, from opposition to the death penalty to women's rights, to highlighting the condition of political prisoners, women political prisoners in particular. I think what's very important right now is that, and what it means to not just myself, but I think lots of women and people across Iran and the world, is that it's a symbolic recognition, really, of the struggle of women and girls in Iran for dignity and for equality and rights. So it's, you know, a recognition of this woman life freedom revolution that was sparked after the murder of Mahsa Amini in September of last year, and that's ongoing in various forms. And I think it's an important revolution, really, to recognize, to encourage, to support, and I think this Nobel Peace Prize really does that, but only symbolically. A lot more needs to be done, really.
How do you expect the regime in Tehran will react to this?
Well, the regime in Tehran reacts with anything that is a promotion of women's rights and equality in a negative light. It will see this as Western government's intervention in Iran. It will see this as, a plot by various CIA and Mossad and so on and so forth. The reality is that Narges Mohammadi and countless women and girls in Iran have been fighting over many decades for change. They are the Achilles heel of this regime. They are challenging this regime at its very core, because as we know, theocratic rules, the hijab, these are all sex apartheid, gender apartheid. These are all ways in which the regime has suppressed women and girls for over 40 years. And via this suppression, they have been able to suppress all of society, which is why the fight against the hijab, women and girls' fight for women life freedom has been so key and instrumental in pushing back theocratic rules and bringing about real change in Iran. So this is an ongoing struggle. The regime will continue to clamp down on women's rights campaigners, activists like also Sepideh Gholian and many others. And we're talking about this at a time when we've got a wonderful, lovely 16-year-old, Armita Geravand, who is in a coma, very similar to Mahsa Amini being in a coma a year ago, again, because of compulsory veiling rules. Compulsory veiling rules kill women and girls. And I think highlighting the struggle for women by the Nobel Peace Prize Committee is hugely crucial, but a lot more needs to be done. We need political action against the Islamic regime of Iran. We need sex apartheid to be seen as a crime against humanity in the same way that racial apartheid is. And we need to stop allowing governments to give red carpet treatments to the Iranian regime. Do you know that on 2nd of November, this regime is going to be chair of the UN Human Rights Council Social Forum? It's a scandal. It's an abomination.
Okay, Maryam Namazie, thank you very much for joining us to give us your reaction to that news. Narges Mohammadi has been awarded this year's Nobel Peace Prize, the imprisoned Iranian human rights activist.
Where the news never stops. LBC News.